What's up, everybody? My name is Justin, and welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Tears. On today's video, I got an exciting bottle. Today, I've got a Heaven Hill grain to glass. This is the wheated bourbon whiskey. Okay, so Heaven Hill grain to glass. Finally found one of these recently. I found the wheated variety of the bourbon. They've also got the regular bourbon and the rye out there. I have not seen those, but this one I did pick up recently for $120 is what I got this for. I think the bottle looks cool. It's got a different looking cork on top, which is nice. And I think the labeling and everything about it looks pretty nice. So this is coming in at 121 proof. It's at least 6 years old. So a 6-year age statement, distilled in 2017, released in 2024. It's 35% wheat, 52% corn, and 13% malt. So the deal with this is Heaven Hill works with this particular seed growing company, and they pick out like a higher starch corn that they use. Typically less alcohol content, but better alcohol content or something like that. And then they grow it in Bardstown, Kentucky, about 50 miles from the distillery, and they come up with this grain to glass. So this is like hand-selected premium corn that this Heaven Hill grain to glass is made with. I'm excited to try it today. Hopefully you are too. Let's go ahead and pop this interesting cork and get the nosing straight out of the bottle. I kind of like it. It's kind of like this easy to grab and pull out. All right, here we go. Nosing out of the bottle. It has been cracked for a few days now. Super sweet. Oaky. Caramel and vanilla with like some that's actually much oakier than I was expecting. Super sweet notes on there. We'll see what notes exactly I get here once we transfer it into the glass. All right, so it's Beck's. It says it actually right there on the glass. Beck's is the name of the, it's like a family-owned company that Heaven Hill's been working with forever that makes the corn variety, seed, hybrid, whatever, higher starch corn variety that they're using for this one today. Hey, if you guys haven't done so already, do me one big favor. Hit like, hit subscribe on the video, and if you really want to help support, get a cool badge next to your name, get access to all the videos earlier, go ahead and hit that join button down below for $2 a month. All right, here we go. Heaven Hill grain to glass wheated bourbon whiskey out of the glass on the nose. Like a sweet plum, vanilla, caramel, cooked baking spices, wood. It smells really, really nice. No real like mustiness to it or anything. Obviously it's 6 years old, so it doesn't have a huge age statement on it. Maybe like a sugary, like a granular sugary, like, you know, if you get one of those little pastries and it's got like the fruit filling and then the little sugar things on top, the little sugar granules on top. I think it smells like one of those. A little hint of like a corn dust on there. Yeah, definitely a hint of a corn dust on there too. So I'm really excited to try this one today. If you guys don't know already, I am a huge Heaven Hill fan. I don't think I've really found anything of theirs that I don't like. And I like most of their stuff, and the Heaven Hill like 1718 is like my dream bottle over a lot of the other big time bottles you may think of when you're thinking the Pappies and the B-Tax and all that stuff. It's the Heaven Hill 17/18 for me is my dream bottle to one day own. I didn't win it, unfortunately, in the recent Angels Share lottery, even though I did buy a few tickets for that one. So excited to try this one today. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, okay, nice and viscous. And it's definitely got that heat with the 121 proof. That first sip, I really enjoyed a lot. Really enjoyed that first sip a lot. I have to try and break this one down. The heat and that viscosity level definitely hit me right out of the gate on that first sip. Super sweet up front. Like a sugary strawberry. Like if a strawberry, like the strawberry was covered in like a strawberry glaze and had sugar on top. Getting a lot of that there on the upfront notes, and it lingers around with that nice heat and that nice viscosity level that coats your tongue. It lingers around for a bit. Ooh, this is stacking up to get a good grade so far, I must say. But let's continue to try and unpack this thing, see what other flavors I can pick out. You know what's on that on that the viscousness that covers your mouth is like a honey. Like if you ever had, have you ever had like honey bread, or just you just slap some honey onto bread and then you eat that? It's kind of like that because it's got all that. It turns the bread like a little bit hard and granular and sugary, and it's got that sweetness, but it's got that kind of underlying bread notes on there. It's really good. Got a hint of oak in there, not as much as on the nose. Definitely caramel, maybe a hint of molasses in the background, and it just lingers. It's just hanging out in my mouth, having a party right now. It's got the fruity flavors, the sugary flavors. It's got some of the more underlying denser flavors. It's got maybe a hint of spice in there in the background, and that kind of comes through a little bit longer as it lingers in your mouth. I don't know if it's like somewhere between like a cracked black pepper and like a jalapeno, but if they were super subdued, if that makes any sense. It's like barely there on the background as it fades throughout your mouth. Yeah, I mean, that's a really enjoyable pour. No bitteriness, no flavors that I don't like in there. It doesn't have any of that like cornstarchy taste to it or anything like that. It just got if it had, I think, a little bit more oakiness into it, so obviously it's only 6 years old, so it's going to struggle to get that a ton in there, but if it had a little bit more oakiness in there, this could be absolutely incredible. But yeah, I get that plum note a little bit up front, and then it transitions into kind of a combination of that sugary puff pastry fruitiness with the like a bready honey bread, and then on the back end a little bit of like some kind of spicy peppery note. I was thinking leather for a minute, but not really leather or tobacco, nothing like that, and just a hint of wood in there in the background. So I'm really enjoying it. All right, so let's go ahead, rate this thing on the tier system today. The Heaven Hill Grain to Glass, the first time they've ever come out with this series. They are apparently going to be coming out with more of these in the years to come, but they're going to be using different strains of the grain, so it may change from year to year what the flavor profile is like. So I don't know if they'll ever use this particular grain again, but this may be the only time you ever get that particular grain in this particular mash bill released from Heaven Hill. So it's the first time they've ever come out with it for $120. I would definitely pay that again, at least for the wheated bourbon variety. I haven't had, like I said, the regular or the rye, but let's do one last sip and then I'll rate this thing on the tier system today. Yeah, it's got that nice viscosity level. It's got those really sweet notes with those underlying notes that kind of bring it all together. The honey, the caramel, the bread, a little bit of the wood, and then it just lingers in your mouth, and it's really, really good. So on the tier system today, you guys probably guessed it. I think I'm going to go A tier for sure on this one. Absolutely deserves it. I think if it had maybe a little bit more age to it and got a little bit more of those oaky and maybe older musty notes on there that kind of combined with what's already in here, it could have be S tier. So maybe, I don't know, maybe sometime, 6 years from now, if they release this same bottle but with a 12-year age statement, I don't know if that's something they plan on doing or not, but hey, that could be something that is of S tier quality in my mind. But yeah, it's going on the A tier for me today. Have you guys had this bottle or any of the other grain to glass varieties? If you have, let me know what you think about them down in the comments below. I really appreciate y'all being here. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you for your next drink.